Well, I've done everything to promote the new WebEx that I can, so feel free to get started whenever. This might be a very light meeting today.
Okay.
Unless people are having problems getting in. So.
Okay. Can you see the PowerPoint? Is that shared currently? I can't tell.
Yeah, we see a PowerPoint, or yeah, very small, but that's okay.
Very small.
Something with a resolution or something.
Yeah. Okay. Hi, everybody. I guess I'll go ahead and get started since we're recording. Just wanted to, I guess, introduce myself. My name is Andy Seed, and I just wanted to, I guess, kick off this installment of the bi-weekly Tech Interchange. I guess in the beginning, just looking for any new attendees. Myself being fairly new, I'm not sure I'm the best candidate to pull those out of the list. But anybody else see anybody that may not be new that we'd want to go through and do a quick introduction, maybe hear a little more?
Hey guys, it's Derek Weirman. I work in RTP with Carlos mostly. So I'm going to be helping out now with trying to get some of the runtime work done and just some other facets to the open part. I also work on other parts of the IBM piece that uses OpenWhisk, but I'm going to be dipping my hands more and more into the open side of things now. So hopefully able to learn a lot going forward.
Hey, welcome. Anybody else? Let's see. Okay.
I could go.
Sure.
So, hi everyone. My name is Justin. Justin also works for IBM as developer advocate. I'm interested in kind of creating a Ruby runtime for OpenWhisk. I already started kind of writing a blog post on just how to get Ruby running with OpenWhisk, and I'm looking to, create a runtime for it. That's kind of my plans, my goals.
Nice.
Cool. And that blog post is not on OpenWhisk IBM blog site.
Oh yeah.
Right.
I saw it today on Twitter.
Okay. Let's see. All right. I guess we wanted to get started in some of the open status updates in some of these areas, such as the core OpenWhisk area, or any other of the pieces here. Anyone would like to volunteer for that?
I have a few updates. This is Carlos. I looked through the commits from last time we met. In core, GNX version, latest version. GNX was updated to the latest version. Grado S coverage got merged from Chatham. It's a good contribution. So now you will see, since that was merged on April 26th, right about the last meeting. But basically, it's coverage on the Scala code that can be executed from Gradle, not from the containers. But it's a good step forward, and then you get a report. And we're using conf.io. So if you go open your Travis you will see it. But in OpenPRs, now you see a comment being inserted, and it gives you a link to the coverage. So that was a great addition, I think. So that will give us a little bit of coverage on how we're doing with Scala code. Name, with API host name, part of the Ansible, not important. Java runtime got updated in the core, but it was already updated in the runtime. So basically, this one includes the switch from Oracle to the contribution done by Param on moving to the adopt OpenJDK runtime. So Java Actions will start using that one instead of the Oracle one. From what we can see, some testing, and Eric did some testing. This one, this image is better, handles better memory. And Param did some performance testing and evaluations between the two, and the information is the pull request in the repo. Scan code, I think that Matt can talk that later, is got through all the repos. Let me see, use variables, update short license, shorten parameters, transaction ID. So now the TID is a string versus a number than before. So that was a contribution by Christian, and that changed. I don't know if it's useful to share my screen so people can follow along. Should I share my screen or not? Yeah, so people can follow. So this is what I'm going to fix it. So transaction ID, the TID is an ID that we pass along on the controller and invoker. So now it's a kind of a GUID string. So the CLI was changed, the core was changed. Let's see. This one also was a ciphers. After the ciphers, there was something found in an audit. Just the ciphers to be more secure. There are the type of ciphers using NGINX. Chetan did an update for count and skip to make correct when you fetch for applications or entities. Now the skip and the they work properly now. Chetan also did an update on the credit that Travis P collect. I think we're missing the reports from the code coverage. So now that gets bumped into the TGC, so you can see, like, if you're having trouble with Travis, you can download the TGC and you get all that information. This was me, fix Ubuntu team vagrant. Some someone pinged me in Twitter that was having problems with Ubuntu team. It was a small fix with the Python pip packages. Another cipher update to secure, have a limited of the most secure ciphers being used in Kafka. So that was the other one was NGINX, so it was Kafka. Node.js got updated to pick up npm package for OpenWhisk. James Summit did a contribution to the client JavaScript on handling API path parameters, so you can create API path parameters, and then that library is using serverless framework. So now if anyone's using serverless framework, they can create APIs in API gateway with specifying your path parameters. So now you can do like /user and quotes and the ID, for example, path parameters. And then just today, Matt merged a Walla and between Roderick and Matt. They removed a class called common.pair. And so we just needed to update some repos to update that. I think that's it. The other things I had, my notes were core Ansible. I didn't see it there, but Ansible got bumped into 2.5. So you're having problems with Ansible, upgrade to 2.5. James Tuvey did that. James also has a PR to upgrade to 2.5.2 because the Cube repo have problems with the Couch TV. The CLI got updated TID. I already said that. I think Cube, Dave may cover that. The Helm charts, DevTools. We can talk later about Dragos updating the API gateway, making that work. The Docker Compose now fully works. I'm super happy about that. Yeah, I think that's it in terms of core updates. And I can talk, if we have time, we can talk about the last things I've done with the Go runtime. If we have time, I can show a demo.
Okay. Let's see. Did you want to come back to that after we're done with the rest of the discussions, or did you want to get into it now?
Yeah, if we have time. Yeah, if not, we can do it next time.
Okay. All right.
There's 3 hours opens and things like that, but I just talk about the things that landed.
Okay. Let's see. Do we have anybody that would want to talk about the release process or Mesos and Splunk updates? I know that Tyson and Dragos won't be here today for that.
So Matt, I'll jump in because I think that there's some tie between what Carlos mentioned in terms of OpenJDK and the release stuff that we're dealing with. But I'm currently going through all the release repos. We're basically trying to clean up the last few files that we found that have strange licenses or licenses we believe that need to be corrected. I know Dragos is actively helping us in API Gateway clean up a lot of the legacy Adobe licenses, and he feels that they were from a project that they were brought from that his team worked on, that they're going to change them to Apache license. In other cases, he's actually changing some other code to remove dependence on other licenses. I'm not sure where that's at. He was having some build problems yesterday, I saw, so I'm not sure if he fixed them or not. But in terms of across all repos, I'm updating all. We decided to add Apache license headers to all conf files, since a lot of the conf files we have do contain actually more than just a few simple settings or key value pairs. They actually contain interfaces and code and things for Scala. So, so you'll see me. I've got it through most of the repos. You might see a couple repos changing to update conf files. Once all that's done, you'll see an update in scan code perhaps today to start enforcing conf files for license headers. So expect that. But in terms of getting back to the OpenJDK stuff, so I know that Vincent opened an issue that we've had a lot of active discussion on 3607 under main OpenWhisk regarding our need to switch perhaps to the Open J9 and OpenJDK version that we use, and perhaps he suggested using an adopt image. I think that Carlos indicated we're using for the Java runtime. I've also been having some background emails with some people in the adopt community, including Tim Ellison at Apache. I just got a response back to him in the last hour. I've been trying to parse through a little bit, but he has an Apache hat, and with this Apache hat, he understands that that if we want to produce convenience binaries, that would be the option for us to use. That would perhaps be more agreeable to the Apache community, regardless. If we produce released binaries, we're going to have to. We probably won't be able to promote them. I'll be very careful how we link to them or reference them from our Apache websites and wikis and things like that. I'm still not clear on the OpenJDK Docker image. Is as an Apache 2 license. He indicated that will change soon. So, you know, if we thought that we were covered and that image was Apache licensed and that we were covered, that's not the case. So he's basically saying that they're going to a combined J9 OpenJDK and that they'll be licensed under GPL v2. So again, everybody, including he, have skirted the issues about about what we can say about that from Apache or from our project, and basically it's nothing. There'll be convenience binaries that are produced under that license that we'll have to reference as being a dependency of our convenience binaries, and basically, commercial entities will have to use them with their own legal advice. That's my reading as of this morning. So I'm sure there's a lot more discussion. I plan to talk to Carlos a bit more to get his take on it, and perhaps Yes, perhaps what we might have to do is we've added to all the license headers all of these references for dependencies to binary release, because I think that the community from the very start indicated very strongly that we all wanted to produce convenience binaries. So our licenses now reflect that. But I don't know if that will cause us a problem if we go for our first release with Apache, having to explain all those things. And if we redacted all the things for bundled things that we bundle, quote unquote, it might make our incubator release process approval go a lot smoother. So I was going to talk to Carlos, get his take on that offline.
Yep. That was the recommendation that source. Oh yeah, we can talk more.
Yeah. That's about it.
Okay. All right. Do we want to get into the next section here for, I guess, Mesos and Splunk? I'm not sure if anybody has any talking points on that, or if we just go on to Kubernetes here.
Kubernetes, Dave is not in the call, but yeah, Dave have been working on the Kubernetes repo. Last thing from that repo was working on Helm charts. So I merged something this morning that he had a PR that made Helm charts work right now in the Travis build with Minikube. So I was happy to see that. So now we have like two scripts. Actually, you can use them from your laptop with Minikube. I've used the other one, just build.sh from Travis, and use the same script locally in my laptop, as long as I have the version of Minikube and Cube that works correctly. OpenWhisk deploys very nicely. And he added one call for Helm. I think it's build helm.sh. So I haven't tried that myself, but Travis was great, so I trust Travis. And Travis is the one that should vet things, not me and my laptop. So yeah, I think at one point in one of the meetings, people were saying that it would be nice to have like a one command or one Helm chart to deploy Cube, just to get a vanilla OpenWhisk up and running so people can try it out or see how it can be deployed. But yeah, that got merged in Cube. That's the only update I have. On terms of Cube, I got accepted for a talk in ApacheCon. The talk is about Cube deployments and OpenWhisk in general. So I don't know if anyone else is going to attend. But yeah, that's something about Cube. That's why you see me doing more Cube stuff lately. And in IBM, we're doing more Cube stuff lately. So Cube is becoming kind of a important in this stage for us.
All right. Let's see. Okay. Also, with Dragos not here, I'm not sure. Do we have anything else from the API gateway side?
Oh, for the API gateway, something cool got merged. He brought that to the Docker Compose. So I don't know if I share my screen. Excited. I merged that last night or today. Share my screen. So he did a pull request. Let me see if I can see it here. On adding synchronization on the gateways using storage. So you can use something, for example, I don't know, he mentioned a lot, but one is S3 or cloud storage. Let me see where this one is. Yeah, sync gateway configuration with a remote location. So I think this was a significant contribution to the API gateway. So you can do Google Cloud Storage, IBM Cloud Storage, Dropbox. I read through the code and the libraries that it uses, and it's neat how it gets implemented. So this was a nice thing. And then he later did something that I wasn't aware of. Maybe everybody knows about something called Minium. I don't know how to pronounce it. Minium. Um, but he did that one yesterday, I think also it was. So he was trying to get some other API gateway management in the quick repo for Docker Compose, but he was having trouble. So we discussed, and I said if it takes too long, it's better to just use the OpenWhisk gateway. So he did it, but on top of that, he's using as you can see, he's using Minio. So the gateway is configured with Minio. So he's doing work with that. So he's using that. So if you have two gateways, they will synchronize through this S3, like I think it's like an emulator or something like that. I'm not familiar with Minion, but that's what I read. But yeah, now you can do quick start and it comes up. We don't have the problem with Chrome anymore, and Whisk API works, and he creates a web API and web action and an API gateway API when you do a quick start. So I was very pleased to see that. Now this could be one of my many workflows of deploying OpenWhisk. And I've been thinking of writing like blog posts of 100 ways of deploying OpenWhisk now. I think that's what I have for API Gateway. Questions, comments?
Okay. Thank you for that. Do we have anything for catalog, packages, samples, or anything around tooling that anybody wants to bring up now?
For tooling, I think CLI had just a minor update for the TID. That's all. If you see problems on errors that are not parsing correctly, the error code is because of that. So just take the latest one. With deploy, as always, it's always moving along and fixing defects. So I don't know if Matt or Pretty has quick updates on the last 2 weeks for with deploy.
Yeah, so for with deploy, we updated for the action function file names. We added environment variable support. So basically, we supported the string interpolation. And recently, I mean not recently, from past few weeks, I've been working on adding the inputs or parameters support and with deploy, where basically we have a separate section for specifying the inputs for the particular deployment and getting the list out of what all inputs are needed. Basically what happens is, let's say if you have certain variables that you rely on is not set in the manifest file, then the deployment would just go along, just spreading the warning that this particular variable is not set. But now we can basically get a list of variables which are needed and what kind of value, whether they are required or not. It's pretty much same as, let's say for example, in the Whisk system Slack package, we have bunch of inputs. We call it parameters, like Slack username, Slack channels, Slack token. So all those we can specify under the inputs section separately, and those all will be propagated to the package level and project level. So I'll have a demo hopefully in next Interchange showing exactly what I mean, and I'm planning on adding all these changes to the catalog manifests, and maybe I can show this enhancement using one of the catalog packages.
Yeah, this is to replace our install catalog. Eventually, replace the install catalog.sh, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that would be good, because then you can use it in Windows or any OS, and it's more declarative than having a little script. So
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Good. Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. I guess we're through the default sections here. Did you want to kind of go back into that Go pattern, or did you want to discuss anything else before we figure out who's the moderator next week or next meeting?
Yeah, let me show a little bit of progress on the Go language. I think if Justin would like to show a little bit of the Ruby live, if not, that's okay. What do you think, Justin?
I haven't prepared for it, but I can maybe run through the blog post real quick, or actually I might have it set up. Yeah, I'll figure something out. I'll do it happily. Yeah.
I'll take 5 minutes. So let me share my screen. Excuse me if I don't know much about Go. I'm just learning Go as I do this runtime, but Michelle is helping me along. The way the repo is located in runtimes. Let's go. It's still work in progress. We just need to add some of the Scala tests that are in another repo, and then have more community feedback for people to try it out. But I'm going to show you kind of a demo how this looks like. So if I go to, okay, I don't have anything here. Let's see, I have this little project here. And the idea is to make it very simple, right? The demos are like, that's it? Yeah, that's it. A lot of work just to it, like, because that's what we want, simple for users. Can you see my the text correctly?
Yeah, looks good.
Yeah. So the idea is that the user will have a Go file. That Go file will represent your function, your action. You will declare a package called action with a main function called main. I believe you can do main with capital M or lowercase m, that's okay. It takes JSON int and just takes JSON out. This is our canonical example of hello someone. So at least this is useful because it always shows how the people can parse the input parameters. So this is an example that Michelle provided of a parameter called name. If you don't pass it with stranger, if you pass it, say hello name, it prints to the logs. So in this case, standard output. So when you do the activation logs, you get them. If you are something like IBM Cloud Functions, you will get them in Kibana, and then return that. And that's it. That's what it takes to do Go as source code. So this is kind of like, for development, it's good. For production, the recommendation, I think we're going to start like updating the documentation that for production where you have latency sensitive applications, you want to even like maybe you're running from a provider that you don't want to pay much. You want these things to run. You don't want to spend the time compiling code when your code should be running. So
Oh no.
Out of Wi-Fi range.
and then they do something like deploy. In this case, I'm using IBM Cloud Functions, and right now there's no dash kind, but this is what I wanted to share. Like if people want to give it a try, they can use the Docker image, the Docker action. As there's a special tag called master, so anything that gets landed into master is available. And the command is whisk action update golang, and you can do it in IBM with BX or just in locally. So if you deploy this or just run it, the action got deployed, and then to test it, I can say usually using the action. See get golang /URL and that's the URL. I can open that web action in my browser, and I can say .json, and I get hello hello stranger, or I can do query Miss Carlos, and that's it. That's how you do Go. Very fast, but in the first one, it will take a little bit of time. One, because you have to do the Docker pull. Two, because it's compiling code. But that's it. So that's, and the repo is there, has the same structure as the other ones with our typical information there. It has a lot of unit tests. This repo, I like it because it has unit tests in terms of using Go to test the Go proxy. But we're going to add Scala for integration. So it's a good pattern maybe to doing the other runtimes, use the native language to test kind of the inner works of the proxy and the use cases. That's it. Just I can show next meeting more information about using kind. Any questions, comments, good, bad, ugly? But you can give it a try right now. It's live. It's just a Docker image.
All right. Thanks for that.
I can stop sharing.
I can run for the Ruby stuff if you guys want to see it.
Sure. Sounds great.
So let me share my screen. Let's see, how much screen is it sharing now? Do you see my terminal?
Yes.
Okay, good. Excellent. So you should also see Atom right now. So this is, I'm using the Docker runtime to basically create my own Ruby image and have a little Ruby server running and allow you to interact with Ruby in that way. So I'll run through the code real quick. I'm using Sinatra as a very, very lightweight HTTP framework, not as heavy as something like Rails or something like that. And really, all I'm doing is setting the ports that I want to listen to, binding it to any incoming traffic, setting the init, which is very important for any action needs an init. And then the actual code that gets run is in run over here. So for Sinatra, all I have to do is kind of parse the post body. So that's this code right here. If I get an error, I'm just going to ignore it and not have the payload. And then I kind of set my default message, and if you provide a value and a name argument, then I'll add that into the message. So and then this is the output. I'm using a couple other files in here to kind of set it all up. Of course, the Docker file, pulling in the image that I want, installing Sinatra and the extras that I need from Sinatra, pulling in the file, and goes 8080 as the IP address, and then just running the root command. And to make life easier, since I really loathe the Docker command line interface and really like Docker Compose a lot more, I'm using Docker Compose to kind of bootstrap things and set things up. And here, this is the public action that I created for it. I was kind of showing this off to my friend Johan, so we created the Johan's amazing action. And then, so I can show you how it works. Just running Docker Compose up, and then it will spawn up a web server. So that's this over here. It's listening to port 8080 on localhost, and then if I run it rested, I can let me turn it off. The default response is hello world, but if I add a name in, so for example, Carlos was talking earlier, Carlos, and then if I run that, you get hello Carlos. So it's really a very little amount of code that you need to set up a Ruby action, and then in the blog post that I wrote, I basically described how to do this, and I went into a little bit more detail. Let me see if I can find it. medium.com/OpenWhisk, and it's the one at the top. So this kind of goes into what you need to do to just set up any Docker based action, and then it kind of goes into all of the different steps that I took to set this up. And I also created a manifest file for Whisk deploy, and that's this basically. It's only missing the credentials, and this then allows you to easily deploy your action to any type of managed version of Apache OpenWhisk that you have. So that's it in a nutshell. If you guys have any questions, I went through this quite quickly. Of course, there's the blog posts that explains it a little bit more. It's just medium.com/OpenWhisk, and then it's the one serverless Ruby with Docker and Apache OpenWhisk.
It's very nice. Do you know if there's something, I don't know anything about Ruby, but do you know there's something about debugging that you can run that Docker container in some type of mode, and then from a IDE like VS Code or something like that, pipe into certain port or debug it live, and do breakpoints, things like that? What's the workflow for that?
There are some tools for that. Since this is quite simple, I haven't really gone into that. There are, and I'm a little bit behind on my interactive Ruby debuggers at the moment, but they do exist and should be quite easy to plug in. Maybe an interesting one for if I set up some sort of kind of like next step into having Ruby runtime, it might be nice to build out. Yeah.
Cool. That's the type of things people are asking for. Once it gets complicated, how to debug, things like that, and how to troubleshoot where it works on my laptop, but it doesn't work when I deploy it in a container. What's the deal with that? That's usually where I help people.
Yeah.
Cool. Very nice.
Thanks so much.
So you're thinking of helping with OpenWhisk Apache to create a repo and go through all that process? Not that that's an out or process, but like in terms of contributing, maintaining it, and things like that, answering questions and helping out.
Yeah, definitely. I would really like to contribute to the contribute a Ruby runtime and maintain it and stuff like that. I think that'd be
okay.
That'd be really cool.
Cool. Yeah, to set it up and all that stuff, I can help. It's where like when people ask questions and I don't know anything about Ruby, and who would I ping to to help out?
Yeah, totally.
Bugs and things like that. Okay.
Please send them to me.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, we got about 15 minutes left. Anybody else have any other topics you want to discuss in this meeting today? Okay, I guess then we'll have to get to the final topic, which is around who will moderate next meeting. Last time we picked on the new guy, so I'm not sure what the process is in selecting the new volunteer, so to say. Any suggestions? I'm totally open for support. Or any volunteers.
I make a motion that we should create like a OpenWhisk app that selects who's the moderator next time.
Well, I mean, I think if I were pointing the finger, I'd point it to either Justin, because I know Justin, and he probably would take up the challenge. Or if not, I know Pretty is maybe interested in hosting it in the future too. I don't know if they're available for the 23rd, May 23rd. Justin, are you available 23rd? Do you want to host?
I would like to, but it's the day before I'll be hosting the next web conference in Amsterdam. So I think I'm going to be sweating a lot and not even sure if I can make it. Just being on the call itself.
So Pretty, I know that you haven't volunteered yet, and I'm probably speaking out of turn, but would you like to volunteer?
Yeah, sure. I'm available.
Thank you, Pretty.
Yeah, sure.
So we have 2 weeks to go after people for presentations and demos.
Okay. Guess that's the rest of the agenda. And anything else? Or Matt, anything else we should kind of go through?
Nope, that's it. Thanks very much, Andy, and welcome. A good baptism by fire.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, and keep up on the mailing list and Slack. There's a good discussion on the dev list on performance. So yeah, don't be shy and ask questions and help others.
Sounds good.
Yeah, cheers, all.
Thanks.
Cheers.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you.